Welcome back. In this video, we will adjust the controls on our platform movement, as well as adding animation to run left and right, as well as jumping and falling to our main character. So let's get started. One of the first questions that people ask when we start doing platformers is, do I have to use the arrow key because I'd like to use traditional WASD controls? And so what we can do here is let's click on our player and go down to the behaviors. Here I have platform. Also, here's the variables for platform, so we can adjust these values, including turning on double jumping. But at this point, I'm going to turn off the default controls. And that means that I can no longer use the arrow keys in order to move, unless I want to, in which case I can tell the program intentionally that I'd like to use the arrow keys. But right now I'd like to start using the keyboard in order to control my moves, which means I have to tell the computer that there is a keyboard. So in order to do that, I just simply right click on my layout and say insert a new object, and that object is a keyboard. This is going to allow me to access the keyboard within my programming. And now we're going to go into a part of the program that we haven't touched yet, and that's the event sheet. So what I would like to do is tell the computer that when I press the A key, I would like to go to the left. So on the keyboard, now there's two different similar conditions here that we should look at. So there's on key pressed, and on key pressed means when I press a key one time. So if I tap the A key, that's a key press, but if I hold down the A key, that's also just a key press. So I want to say on key down. So that's this one. Now key is down will register if I'm holding down the key. So which key do I want to push? So using the traditional WASD, I would like the A key to be left. Of course, this is your game. You can make it whatever key you want, but I'm going to click there and I'm going to press the A key, and that's going to be my left key. When A is down, I want the player, and if I go down to the platform movement, I've got this option right here, simulate control. When I press the A key, I want to simulate left movement. Now in a similar way, I can click right here and highlight this, and if I right click, I can just copy it, then right click and paste, and I get a copy of that same event right there, the same condition in action. And then I can double click here and just make a quick change. Now it's D, and instead of pressing left, I'm going to press jump. And I messed up, I'm sorry. Not jump, right. Just kidding. Okay, let's go ahead and do a different one. Actually, I'll go ahead and paste another one in there. Now on this one, when I jump, I'm actually going to go back because I'm going to do on key pressed for jump, because jumping is just tapping the button instead of holding the key down. So when I press space, simulate a jump. There we go. Now if I push play now I have my left and right movement using A, D, and jump. Of course, you can't see what I'm pressing, so you're just going to have to trust me on that. But when you do it on yours, it should work. Now, let's go ahead and take an opportunity here to upgrade our artwork. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to double click on my player to go to the artwork. And at this point, I would like to go ahead and start animating this guy. So in order to do that, you'll want to get some animations, and like I said, I am not a pixel artist, so everything that you're about to see was done by me. That doesn't mean it's necessarily good, but I highly recommend that you find a good pixel art class on how to make these animations. So in order to load an animation, I'm going to click on the load, click on this little arrow right here and say load the frames. Now I've made something called Toot Guy for Tutorial Guy, and the first thing I want to start with is his idling animation. And the idling animation is just a 2-frame animation, one with his head up and one with his head down, so he just kind of bobs his head while he's waiting. So, Toot Guy 0, Toot Guy 1, open, and now I've got these 2 frames here. I want to rename this animation idle. And now I do want it to loop, and I can press the preview button to preview it, and that looks a little spastic to me, so let's decrease the speed to 2. Okay, now what I'm noticing here is that he is jumping off the ground a little bit, and that's not what I wanted for that. So what we do to fix this is we go and we adjust the origin point. So I'm going to zoom in on this guy so I can see where he is, and I see that his origin for the 0 frame is right here in the center, and then let's switch over to frame 1, and it looks like they're in the same spot. So let's check the collisions. Actually, I want to move the collisions down. This is where he's going to hit, so I want to make sure that this reflects his feet being on the ground. Okay, and then I'm just going to lower that origin point just a little bit, that way it matches. There we go. So now when I push play, I get his head bobbing up and down. That's the way I intended it for it to be. So now when I play the game, I see there he is, and he's nice and animated. So I'm going to go ahead and move. And I think it would be nice if he would also run. So let's turn that off. And I'm going to right click here and add an animation. And let's go ahead and just rename this one Run. And just like the last time, I'm going to load some frames. Going back, I've got a Toot Guy Run. Oops, that was a mistake. Okay, so I actually want all of these. So now I have an 8-frame run, and let's look and see how that looks. We'll push play. So first of all, I need it to loop. So let's click loop. And second of all, I think that was a little slow. Let's up the speed to 10. Let's preview it again. Okay, that's better. While I'm at it, let's go ahead and check the collision polygons. So I do want to move these all the way down, that way he is touching the ground. We're just going to adjust the collisions really quickly. Okay, and now I click play, and he's still not moving. The reason for that is because I haven't told the program to switch to the running animation. So what I'm going to do here is say I'm going to add another event, and I'm going to say when the player is moving, right here under platforming is moving, then the player should change the animation to run. Now let's go ahead and do that again, except now we want to say when the player is not moving. So if I look at this, I just see is falling, is jumping, is moving. So I'm going to just do is moving again, but what I want to do is switch it to not moving. And the way that I can do that is by right-clicking this, and then I have the invert option. So I say player not is moving. So if the player is not moving, then the player, let's set the animation to idle. All right, let's see how that looks. So here I am. Oh, and now I'm having a little bit of a seizure. So you see, if I walk, it looks okay. But right here, what's happening right here is it's switching between the idle and the running motions very, very quickly. So the way that I can troubleshoot this all has to do with where the origin is located. So what I like to do here is let's go to the run, and I'm going to slow down the run to 2 frames. So this is going to be really slow, but what this is going to do is it's going to help me identify where the problem is, which frame is the problem. So let's go ahead and play that. And nope, that didn't help at all, which means it's probably in the very first frame. So let's go into the player, and what I think is happening is the player is falling, and falling makes a movement. So I have to make it so the origin for the idle and the origin for the run are in the same spot. So what I'll do here is just move this up by a pixel, like right there, and then do the same thing here. It's easier to change the 2-frame animation than it is to change the 8-frame animation. Let's go ahead and try that again. Okay, there, that's better. So when he's standing still, he's idling, and then when we move, he does this really, really slow run because we slowed down the run animation. So let's go ahead, we'll increase that back up to 10. Check it again. There we go. Nice, smooth walk animation. Now, we do have a small problem, and that is that he cannot move left. So we're just going to tell him to flip around. Now, when we move to the left, I want the player to flip around. So right here where it says when I press the A key, you're going to move left, I'm going to add another action, player, and that would be is mirrored. So when I press left, the player is mirrored, but then when I press right, I want the player to switch back to not mirrored. So there we go. Now I have a player that can move back and forth. Okay, so in the next video, we will cover the jumping animation.